Now, for more insight and analysis, we're joined by former diplomat Dr. Cemal Sangu, live from Ankara. Thank you so much, Dr. Sangu, for being with us on Asia One. Direct mediation with the United States is continuing. President Trump confirmed yesterday that his administration is talking to Iran, but he also warned of a possible massive attack. How do you interpret these parallel tracks of diplomacy and military pressure?
First of all, good evening. I think we are witnessing what international relations scholars often describe as coercive diplomacy, a situation in which military pressure and diplomatic engagement proceed simultaneously, rather than as a mutual exclusive options. This may appear a bit contradictory, but in reality, it's a common feature of major international crisis. Iran is signaling that it remains open to indirect negotiations, particularly during the days through regional and international mediators, because it recognized that a prolonged military confrontation, a military war, would carry enormous economic and political cost. At the same time, United States is maintaining strong military pressure to reinforce deterrence and strengthen its negotiating position. President Trump's warning of a possible massive attack is therefore not only a military message, but also a political signal intended to influence Iran's strategic calculations. The important point here is that neither side appears to have completely closed the diplomatic door. History shows that even during the periods of intense military tensions, communications channels often remain active behind the scene. These channels reduce the risk of misunderstanding and create opportunities for de-escalation. Ultimately, history reminds us that wars often begin when diplomacy fails, but peace begins when diplomacy remains alive.
So, Dr. Sango, for the first time in nearly 2 weeks, CENTCOM has not announced a fresh round of strikes on Iran. Could this signal maybe a deliberate pause to give diplomacy a chance, or do you think it's maybe too early to draw this conclusion?
Well, I believe it is a positive development, but I would advise against drawing definitive conclusions too quickly. Military operations frequently include operational pauses for intelligence assessments, logistic adjustments, and strategic reassessment. Therefore, the absence of new strikes over a short period does not necessarily indicate a change in overall policy. However, from the diplomatic perspective, a temporary reduction in military activity can be highly significant. It creates political space for mediators, reduces immediate tensions, and gives decision makers an opportunity to evaluate whether continued escalations serves their national interest. We should also remember that every additional military exchange increases the possibility of unintended consequences. Even a limited incident could trigger a broader regional response involving multiple actors. That's why any pause, however temporary, should be used constructively by diplomatic mediators. Whether this pause becomes meaningful will depend on what happens over the next several days. If diplomatic contacts intensify during this period, we may be witnessing the beginning of a de-escalation process rather than merely an operational break. The coming days will tell us whether this is simply a pause in military operations or the first step towards preventing a much larger conflict.
So Yemen's Houthis have claimed attacks on Saudi oil facilities in Jizan and Yanbu, saying that they were responding to Saudi strikes. How does this development affect the wider U.S.-Iran confrontation and also the security of the Gulf region?
Well, this development significantly broadens the strategic picture because it demonstrates that the crisis is no longer confined to direct tensions between Iran and United States. The involvement of regional actors such as Houthis introduces an additional layers of complexity and increases uncertainty across Middle East. Targeting of Saudi energy infrastructures is particularly significant because energy facilities are part of the global economy, not merely national assets. Any disruptions to oil productions, export routes, or maritime shipping through Red Sea or Gulf can influence international energy prices, insurance costs, and global supply chain. At the same time, attacks by non-state actors complicate diplomatic efforts because they create multiple centers for decision makings. When energy security is threatened, the consequences extend far beyond the Middle East. They quickly become a matter of global security and economic stability.
Dr. Cemal Sangu, thank you so much for your insightful analysis.